Happy Tuesday. Now that our steps have all been filled in, we can go through our supplemental sheet, or what should be our supplemental sheet now. We should be able to make sure that everybody's is on the same level. Okay? So if we have a regular old function and we want to graph it, okay, the first step on our sheet should be we should simplify the function if possible. Okay? So we need to factor in this step. Okay? So we got to factor until we can't factor anymore. We cross some things out if we do, and if we do cross some things out, that leads us to step number 5, find the whole. Okay? Step number 1 then should be find the domain at any vertical asymptotes. We do that by putting the denominator equal to 0, and we solve. Step number 2 says we're going to find any horizontal asymptotes. Okay? And we're going to do that by comparing the degrees big over small, small over big, or the same. There's all rules to there. Next step, we're going to find the y-intercept, and we're going to plug in 0 for that. Next, we're going to find the x-intercepts. We're going to set the numerator. Whoa, what the heck happened there? We're going to set the numerator equal to 0, and we're going to solve that. Next, we're going to find the whole. We're going to find the whole by if step 0 we cross something out, that's going to lead us to our whole. And so we take what we crossed out, we set all of the factors that we simplified, that we got rid of in step 0, we set them equal to 0, plug them into our new simplified function, and that's going to give us any and all wholes. Step 6, we're going to find the slant asymptote. That's what we did yesterday. Okay? So we do the division. That's going to give us our slant asymptotes. And then step 7 is our t-charts, and we find any and all extra stuff. Okay? That should be a separate sheet of paper right next to you throughout all of the rest of this unit. What I told you way back at the beginning of the unit, we want to make a separate sheet so we have everything. We planned all of our work for every single one of our problems, and it's all right there at the ready. Okay? So let's do this particular one. If you want, you could pause the video here, do this problem, and then come back to the solution. That would be the recommended way of doing that. If not, if you wanted to do it as we go along, and if I'm going too fast for you, you can pause as you're going along on the individual parts. Okay? So first off, step 0, we should factor to see if anything cancels out. So my numerator is really x plus 1, and then also times 2. My denominator is actually x minus 3 times x plus 1. Two numbers multiplying together to be -3 and adding to be -2, or -3 and +1. With that being said, one of my x plus 1s cancel each other out. So that tells me that I have a hole because I factored something out. It also tells me that my new function that I'm going to be graphing is really 2 times x plus 1 all over just x minus 3. Okay. So my domain then is going to be, I go back to my original function to find the domain. And so that's going to be all real numbers, but x cannot be positive 3 or negative 1. Okay? Because I would say x minus 3 can't be 0, so x can't be 3, and x plus 1 can't be 0, so x can't be negative 1. Now for my vertical asymptotes, though, now I go to my new function. So my vertical asymptote is just x equals 3. Horizontal asymptote, degree of the top is 1. Degree of the bottom is 1. Those are the same, so that's going to be a y equals a over b case. The a on top is 2, the b on the bottom is 1, so my horizontal asymptote is y equals 2. My y-intercept is next. Step number 3, plugging in 0. So f of 0 is going to be 2 times 0 plus 1 all over 0 minus 3. 0 plus 1 is 1 times 2 is 2. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So my y-intercept is the point 0, comma, negative 2/3. Next one is my x-intercept. I take my numerator, set it equal to 0. I get negative 1. So my x-intercept is the point negative 1, comma 0. There is a hole because we crossed out the x plus 1. So I'm going to set that equal to 0. Solve it. Gives me negative 1. Oh, notice. Okay. So that's going to be negative 1. I plug that back into my function. F of negative 1 is going to be 2 times negative 1 plus 1 all over negative 1 minus 3. That's going to be 2 times 0 is 0 over negative 4. So I have a hole then at negative 1, comma 0. That hole has more power than my x-intercept. So my x-intercept now is none because I can't touch there because it is a discontinuity. So a hole takes precedence over an intercept any day. Okay? I have a horizontal asymptote, so that means I do not have a slant asymptote. Okay? To the graph we go. So we have here x equals 3 as my vertical asymptote. We have y equals 2 as my horizontal asymptote. We have 0, comma, negative 2/3 as my y-intercept. I don't have an x-intercept, but I have a hole right there. No slant asymptote, so we can go right to finding extra points that are in there. So let's go with 2. Oops, I gotta go back up just a little bit so I can see my function. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 minus 3 is negative 1, so that's negative 6. 6. 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So that's going to be negative 2. Negative 10 would be negative 9, negative 18 on top. So it's going to be a little bit more than 1. Not quite 2. Then we got to go to the other side. 4. 4 plus 1 is 5, times 2 is 10. 4 minus 3 is 1. 5. 5 plus 1 is 6, times 2 is 12. 5 minus 3 is 2, so that's 6. 2, 4, and 6. 10. 10 plus 1 is 11, times 2 is 22. So it's a little bit more than 22 over 7. Draw it in. And there we go. There you go. And there's your graph. Love it. We can do number 2 on the worksheet for this week. And if we haven't turned in last week's worksheet, we could do that. Or if we haven't turned in any worksheets, we could do that. Oh yeah, we'll take it all. Yeah, get stuff turned in. Yahoo for School, thanks for playing along. We'll see you tomorrow.